welcome to Poland Daily Culture. Today we will be going back to the 16th century and we will see the museum of Jan Kochanowski. My guest today will be Mrs. Maria Jaskot. Hello and welcome to Poland Daily Culture.
Dzień dobry, witam serdecznie.
Let's start with the first question. When the museum was opened?
Muzeum zostało otwarte 16 września 1961 roku. Wykład inaugurujący działalność muzeum wygłosił wtedy
The museum was opened on September 16, 1961. An outstanding art historian and expert on Jan Kochanowski's life and art, Julian Krzyżanowski, gave a keynote speech on museum's activity. Happily, there is still a radio recording of this professor's speech. Actually, there is an anecdote connected with the opening of the museum. Thanks to this, we know that a famous Polish poet, Jarosław Iwaszkiewicz, and a little less known nowadays Polish prose writer, Jan Maria Gizges, connected to the Silesian voivodeship, were both present at the museum's opening. Gizges wrote an epigram about his trip to Czarnolesie. The epigram says, "Unfortunately, no one paid attention to the two humble poets there. The first modest exhibition was created in 1961, during a difficult period after war. It wasn't that easy to organize such a thing. Local activists were doing their best. They were engaged in many associations, but also Świętokrzyskie Museum became a patron of the idea of establishing of the Czarnoleskie Museum. The very first exhibition was prepared by a worker of the Świętokrzyskie Museum in Kielce, Aleksandra Dobrowolska. She organized three important biographical museums in Poland: Jan Kochanowski Museum, Stefan Żeromski School Years Museum in Kielce, and the Museum of Henryk Sienkiewicz in Oblęgork. As I mentioned before, the exhibition was very modest because there were not enough money for this undertaking. And that's why these four modest rooms were equipped with blackboards showing Jan Kochanowski's life and art. The situation changed in the 80s, when Czarnolas and the entire environment of the Polish men of letters were preparing to the two important anniversaries. One of them was the 400th anniversary of Kochanowski's death, and the other, 450th anniversary of his birth. Comprehensive revitalization works were carried out at the time. Also, the new scenario of the biographical exhibition was prepared. A chapel, which lost its sacred character for some time and was used as a room for variable exhibitions, was also renovated. Last year, we modernized these exhibitions from the 80s, and we introduced new biographical texts related to Kochanowski. We placed Kochanowski's most important work of his entire output, David's Psalter, in the chapel. The exhibition is also expanded to include context related to Czarnolas, where we can get to know Kochanowski as the owner of Czarnolesie, as the protector of those goods, and the man who is the poet, the nobleman, and the landlord of this place.
Jako właściciela Czarnolasu, jako opiekuna tych dóbr i człowieka, który jest poetą, szlachcicem gospodarującym na własnym łanie.
Jan Kochanowski was a Polish Renaissance poet who established poetic patterns that would become integral to the Polish literary language. He is commonly regarded as the greatest Polish poet before Adam Mickiewicz and the greatest Slavic poet prior to the 19th century. Kochanowski was born at Sycyna near Radom, Poland. Little is known of his early education. At 14, fluent in Latin, he was sent to the Kraków Academy. After graduating in 1547, at age 17, he attended the University of Königsberg in Ducal Prussia and Padua University in Italy. At Padua, Kochanowski came in contact with the great humanist scholar Francesco Robotello. Kochanowski closed his 15-year period of studies and travels with a final visit to France, where he met the poet Pierre Ronsard. In 1559, Kochanowski returned to Poland for good, where he remained active as a humanist and Renaissance poet. He spent the next 15 years close to the court of King Sigismund II Augustus, serving for a time as royal secretary. Kochanowski settled on a family estate at Czarnolas, Blackwood, to lead the life of a country squire. In 1575, he married Dorota Podlodowska, with whom he had 7 children. Kochanowski is sometimes referred to in Polish as Jan z Czarnolasu, John of Blackwood. It was there that he wrote his most memorable works, including The Dismissal of the Greek Envoys and The Laments. Kochanowski died, probably of a heart attack, in Lublin on August 22, 1584.
Was this his family's possession?
Tak, Czarnolas należał do rodziny Kochanowskich. W jego posiadanie wszedł dziadek poety, również Jan.
Yes, Czarnolas was in the Kochanowski family possession. The poet's grandfather, also named Jan, got it. Then he gave this to the poet's father, Piotr Kochanowski. And after that, as a result of divisions of this property, half of it was given to Jan Kochanowski. Of course, he didn't start to manage this property immediately, because he was relatively very young. He was 29 at the time. He just came back from the University of Padua, which lasted about 5 years. He was looking around for some patronage. That is, he wanted to be a writer, just like Pierre de Ronsard in Paris or Ariosto Ferreira. He wanted to work close to the king. He knew he would develop under king's patronage.
Tak, aby przy królu, będąc pod jego mecenasem, właśnie mógł rozwijać swoją twórczość.
And he
I
succeeded.
to mu się poniekąd udało, może bezpośrednio pod jakby skrzydła królewskie nie trafił.
Yes, to a certain extent. He didn't get the king's patronage directly, but he got an amazing bishop's patronage. And I think that nothing better could happen to him at that time. Firstly, his friendship with the Bishop of Płock, then with the Krakow's patron of poets, an outstanding humanist who studied at the University of Padua, just like Kochanowski, who later invited Kochanowski to his smaller chancellery located in Wawel. At that time, the matter of signing of the Polish-Lithuanian Union was ongoing, which is why Kochanowski was very busy with his duties as a secretary. He also took part in various trips with Piotr Myszkowski and the king, during which he was helping with his writing skills. Myszkowski put a great amount of merits on Kochanowski, in the sense that he gave up his lucrative position at the Archdiocese of the Grand Duchy of Posen, and Jan Kochanowski took over his position in the Poznań parish. Kochanowski made lower priestly vows. That's why he couldn't lead the Holy Mass, but a priest who was at the same parish was doing it on his behalf. The same priest was also a parish priest in Zvoleń. It was a very modest parish and didn't bring Kochanowski any income. But Kochanowski earned a lot of money thanks to his artwork, especially the David's Psalter, which was very popular.
Szczególnie z psalterza właśnie, który cieszył się wielkim powodzeniem.
Dziękuję bardzo Pani za rozmowę. Thank you very much.
Dziękuję bardzo.